And also Elena Vassen got one bronze medal back in 2018, but back then she was diving synchro with Maria Curio and not with her sister. Here we are. The referee has blown her whistle, and the competition can start. First team up, Team Ukraine, Ksenia Байло and Soфія Лискун. In the first two rounds of dives, we'll see every single team performing the back dive pike first and the reverse dive pike second. So we'll have two rounds of dives back to back when we will see always the same dive. Here it is, back dive straight from Team Ukraine, very well executed. The entries for both divers is extremely well performed. They disappear underwater. We see Soфія Лискун closer to the camera from this angle. Very nicely done in synchro. 49.80 points for Team Ukraine on the first dive. Very, very well done.
Second round of dives.
Second round of dives, Team Ukraine. Reverse dive pike, same dive, we'll see throughout the whole second round of dives by every single team. And that means, since we have seen backs and reverses in the required dives, that means that in the optional, all the teams will be performing the front, the inward, and the twister. Good job by the Ukrainians. Not as good as the first dive they performed, but overall good. They're just not perfectly aligned in the water, and both divers do not get a perfect entry in the water. But again, 8s for the synchronizations and 7s for the individual execution for them. 96 even points for them after 2 rounds of dives. At 90 points, but all the teams are within 7.20 points. So really, with the optional dives that are about to start now, anything can still happen.
Third round of dives.
Third round of dives, and now the
Team Ukraine.
Team Ukraine is starting the third round of dives with inward 2.5 somersault pike. Both the Ukrainians and the Italians are doing the inward 2.5 somersault pike, while the Germans and the British are doing the inward 3.5 somersault tuck later on in their list. And the dive is not bad in synchronization, so the timing is okay, but individually they make a slight mistake, both of them. Ksenia ends up entering the water too far over, and also Sophia quite over, not as bad as her teammate. So the execution scores are low, 6.5 for them, and synchro they get to 7.5 with their close. There's not a huge gap between first and last place, less than 15 points, and a lot of diving still to see. We have for the fourth round of dives, Ksenia Байло and Soфія Лискун back 2.5 somersault, 1.5 twist. They had a little, they made a little mistake, tiny mistake on their inward 2.5 somersault pike in the previous round. They must recover and do a great dive here if they want to stay in contention for gold. And they do a great dive. Synchro is perfect. They are always moving together, take off, twist, the somersaults as well. Only thing is Ksenia has a greater distance from the platform than Sophia. We see Ksenia on the right side of the screen. So further away from the platform, the alignment was not perfect, but A 72.96 points dive for Team Ukraine. A little bit further back, there's Team Italy. There is a chance here. We have a chance for the first time this week. We have seen Team Ukraine being beat at the last dive by Team England, Team Great Britain, 3 times already in the team event. I mean, in the synchro, mixed synchro, the women's synchro, and the individual 10-meter platform women. And let's see if the opposite can happen here today. Front 3.5 summer pike for Team Ukraine is excellent synchronization on this dive. We see Tamaria Goncharova, the coach of the 2 young ladies competing here today, very happy with the execution of the dive of the Team Ukraine. 7.5s, 8s, 8.5s from the judges, 71.10 points. They close at 298.86 points. So much better than last year, 12 points better than last year. So congratulations, Team Ukraine. That means that Team